Baku goat? We all in agreement there? Yeah? Good. Enough said. What's up? It's Truth Hero, and welcome back to another My Hero Academia chapter review. So Boku no Hero Academia chapter 358 of the manga. We'll discuss everything from Shigaraki getting a little handsy with the heroes, to All For One stealing the limelight from Shigaraki, and of course Bakugo's amazing new upgrade to his hero costume and firepower. But also, possibly some incoming death flags for him. Let's dive in. The chapter opens with Shigaraki surfing on thousands of hands and wondering if the heroes will just run away and keep avoiding his attacks. As he says this, Sun Eater gets hit by one of these hand arms. More like a hand tentacle, if that makes sense, but Horikoshi, don't do this. If you take my boy Tamaki away from me, I will rage. The whole comment section will rage for Tamaki Yamajiki. Just, please don't make me change my YouTube logo. Hopefully he's not too injured, but look out Nejire, he's coming for you too. No hero is safe from Shigaraki here, and Best Genius, who gets to surf and stand on his steel cable, says, guys, we have to keep moving and going up and down and avoiding these things, otherwise we're going to get consumed by Shigaraki's body. Which does not sound pleasant at all. I love that nothing is going right for the heroes. Absolutely everything that could be a trap or playing into the villain's hand has happened. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. We saw the fake body that All For One was controlling that fought Endeavor. That was a clear trap. And now the heroes that plan to defeat Shigaraki in their arena that they created are now having to find a way to stop him, otherwise they won't survive. And I like this. Everything is in the villain's favor, so it will be that more rewarding when the heroes overcome all these obstacles when the good guys win. Which, I mean, I hope they do. We then see Edgeshot using his quirk to bypass some of these hand attacks, and he says he still doesn't fully believe that this is not a quirk, that this is just some growth by Shigaraki. Something else must be happening here. I had a feeling from the previous chapters that this was Shigaraki and his body evolving or undergoing some type of metamorphosis, and we finally have our answer here. To explain this, we have Shigaraki and his monologue here, but it's actually the villain king himself, All For One, speaking through his disciple. All For One explains that as his All For One quirk stabilized within Shigaraki, his body took on a new, more suitable form to handle it, and all the other quirks transferred with it. All For One also has complete control over this power and metamorphosis. There's quite a bit to break down from this monologue, and that's just the first part, but for now, let's focus on this evolution. Question number 1. If this is truly not a quirk, and it's purely Shigaraki's body stabilizing and adapting to the All For One quirk, and other quirks that All For One and Dr. Ujiko gave him, then why did he have to go through so much pain with Dr. Ujiko? If you recall, Dr. Ujiko put Shigaraki through hell in order to adapt his body to All For One, his quirk, and all the other quirks that Shigaraki was given. So perhaps a better question is, what exactly did this procedure do? I always assumed that this procedure was the transferring of quirks into Shigaraki, but Deku had to train his body physically in order to inherit One For All. He didn't need a procedure, so perhaps this procedure simply induces some type of genetic mutation, and then Shigaraki's body can adapt to all these quirks without him having to exercise, because God forbid Shigaraki put on some muscle. It also probably means that Shigaraki can recover from anything without having to use a quirk, and who knows what else he can do without having to activate a quirk. So, sorry Monoma and Aizawa, you're kinda useless here. Second big question here is, if All For One has full control over Shigaraki and this power, and it's likely remote control given that in the last chapter the thing that Endeavor fought wasn't actually All For One's body, what exactly is Shigaraki's role here? Unless this is some type of method to bypass quirk cancellation, in the sense that All For One could use the quirks, but Aizawa and Monoma can't cancel them because they only see Shigaraki's body, or some type of way to protect Shigaraki just for this final fight, I'm wondering, when will Shigaraki finally break free of All For One and become his own entity? We've seen this happen time and time again throughout the story. Shigaraki is always relying on All For One, or All For One is sometimes stepping in when Shigaraki doesn't want him to and he becomes annoyed. So when will Shigaraki actually just fight on his own without anyone's help? Shigaraki, or All For One, later says in the monologue that when things lack control, they fall apart. Fear and rejection take over when misunderstanding happens, and the world collapses, blah blah blah. And that it is best to let All For One have full dominion over everything. I don't know about you, but does that sound like Shigaraki is independent from All For One? What happened to destroying it all? Now they're talking about building a different world. Maybe that's phase 2 after they destroy it all? I'm just wondering what Shigaraki is thinking here. Also, is the League of Villains, are they on board with this new plan? Let me know in the comments, do you want to see a more independent Shigaraki? I'm just a little confused because we know that by some point before the end of the series, Shigaraki must succeed All For One, so if All For One's just hanging back at base camp and remote controlling everyone, I don't see how he accomplishes this. So let me know, how does Shigaraki become independent? I'd love to hear your theories on this. He goes on to say that he'll create a world where everyone is exploited equally, so kind of like no different from our world. He adds that this is the most fair solution, the most peaceful alternative to all the conflicts in the world, and even the heroes can respect this. You know who can't respect that, or anyone else in his class? Bakugo. This dude doesn't miss, literally. So let's talk about it. Bakugo is furious that All For One and Shigaraki, with their duplicitous nature, can't just fight the heroes head on. And I would be too. The heroes can't catch a break in even identifying who their true enemy is. Well, Shigaraki, you probably shouldn't make the heroes mad, and especially Bakugo. He's got a bit of a short fuse. With that short fuse, Bakugo unleashes his latest weapon made by the support course, Heavy Mobile Compact Artillery Strafing Panzer, unleashing a barrage of missiles on Shigaraki's twisted form, vowing to obliterate his body and this evil deception. These are excellent upgrades Bakugo has made to his hero costume. This will allow him to do rapid fire attacks that are much faster than his traditional explosions or AP shots. It will also give him artillery in the winter if he can't generate enough sweat. He can just press a button and fire a bunch of missiles. I don't think this necessarily raises his power level in terms of him training his explosions, but it's just another tool in his arsenal. It's more of versatility, and from the looks of it, it looks like he can fire in any direction, which is great for him covering his back. Even so, he needs a little assistance, and I love the teamwork here. Bakugo using this new device to deliver an immense blow to these hands, and Best Genius using his steel cables to pull him out of danger. I also love how Bakugo, without even going through some type of transformation in this battle, is already prepared and responds to All For One's claim, or Shigaraki's claim, both of them I guess, that misunderstanding causes fear and rejection and resentment and weakness. Well, Bakugo perfectly understands the power difference between him and All Might, and him and Midoriya, and he's okay with weakness. He's accepted it. I mean, Bakugo, there's no limits to what he can do. He recognizes that everyone is doing their part, from Yaoyorozu creating the arena to Monoma and Aizawa canceling Shigaraki's quirks. All this talk is unnecessary. Shut up and fight me, you hand nutsack. Sorry, Bakugo's words, not mine. Although, I do agree. The villains really need to do away with all this talking. My only hope is that somehow during this monologuing, Shigaraki and All For One can miss a step, and it looks like they already have with Bakugo. He's gotten the jump with these missiles. So Bakugo, don't listen to them. Heroes, don't listen to all the talking and the taunting. Just do you and be great. Be Bakugoat. The chapter ends with everyone continuing to do their part and keeping this fight going, containing Shigaraki canceling his quirks, creating the stadium, and Bakugo going in for the kill on Shigaraki as he's charging up his howitzer impact cluster and he's ready to just hit him in the face. But Godspeed, Bakugo, you might need it. My question is he in trouble? Could this be some death flags waving in the air? Death flags? No. Injury flags? Possibly. But most certainly flags that this victory or this attack by Bakugo isn't going to be as easy as he thinks it is. You have to remember the first thing here is that the villains have anticipated every step of the hero's plan. They've almost had a one-up on them the entire time. They messed up the warping to the stadium housing Shigaraki. All for One used a decoy body against Endeavor in the previous chapters, so I can only imagine what is waiting for Bakugo and the rest of the heroes under Shigaraki's sleeve. The second thing is, will this move even affect Shigaraki in his current state? As we saw with All for One, he used a decoy body and even Endeavor had trouble breaking through his quirks and force field and doing damage to the body, so why should a hit from Bakugo make any difference on the real deal in Shigaraki? Now, it's possible that Bakugo and the other heroes could catch a break here and Shigaraki won't be able to recover or heal properly because his quirks are being cancelled, but don't count on it, because as of right now, this is just Shigaraki's evolution doing all these tentacles with hands, so who knows what this evolution in his body could do to resisting a hit or repairing damage. Mind you, an evolution and power that is completely controlled by All for One and his maniacal mind. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Will Bakugo land this hit and a victory for the heroes, or does Shigaraki and All for One have some more tricks up their sleeve to resist this? Also, how does Shigaraki break away and set himself apart from All for One? Love to hear your theories. If you guys like My Hero Academia content and these chapter reviews, consider enrolling at UA today before the school permanently closes by subscribing. And until next time, Plus Ultra.